Hello everyone, happy Saturday. Alright, so the two books that I'm going to talk to you about today are two that I got from one of my local libraries, because I use a couple local libraries. Why just use one, right? Anyway, they were available for me to pick up through curbside, and as a library worker and lover and longtime library user, I know curbside isn't what we really want, because there's nothing like going in and just perusing the shelves and finding something you want to read. But because of all the regulations and safety precautions and all of that, this is kind of how libraries are still getting the materials to people. So I would highly recommend that you give it a try if your library is offering it. Most are offering it already, and most are willing to offer it as soon as the state kind of loosens up their stay-at-home orders a little bit. So I know both of my local libraries are offering it, and you just call, tell them what you want, and then they have it ready for you. You pull up with your, open your trunk, and then they just put the books in your trunk, and then you just drive away. And I know some of them have longer fine or due date periods too, just to give you more time. So it's a great deal. I was very excited to go through and get some books. I got 4 books, and I've got, these were the first 2 I read, so I want to tell you about them. And then you can go check them out at your library, because these books are already published. So everybody can go check them out, or you can find them on ebooks. But frankly, I've been reading so many ebooks because of just doing blog tours and stuff, that I just can't do any more ebooks right now. I want some real books. I'm not hating on ebooks. I still really like them. It's just I've been using screens and being forced into so much screen time that now I want some real books. So very glad to get these. The first one is called Normal People, and it's by Sally Rooney. You might recognize this if you are a Hulu watcher. I don't have Hulu, I just have Netflix, so I guess I'm going to have to bring myself into the now. But anyway, this just became a series on Hulu, so for those of you who are like me and want to read the book before you watch, I would suggest reading this book, because it's really, really good. And I feel like if I would have watched the series, I may not have enjoyed it as much, but since I read the book first, I think I'll really like it. I've watched the trailer on the Hulu trailer, and it really follows the book like to a T. Even like the conversation was exactly what was happening in the book, so that's good to know. So Sally Rooney is an Irish author, and her books are wonderful. They're thought-provoking, and they're also real. Like the characters, like it doesn't feel like you're reading some made-up story. They're actually like real characters with real problems, and you can kind of picture people you know as the characters. So it's good in that way. Hi, Liz. So talked about Hulu. So major hype for this book now, since it's on Hulu. That always happens, and then the books get a resurgence of love, which always makes me happy. But then I'm like, you guys, the book's been out forever, but it's okay. We'll still love on the book. So J. Courtney Sullivan, who's another author that I really like, she wrote the book Maine, and then she has a new book coming out called Friends and Strangers. She called the book, or she said, quote, a stunning novel about the transformative power of relationships. And I couldn't have said it better myself, so I'm just going to use her quote because it's very true. So this book takes place in Ireland, which is where Sally's from. And it's a small town, and it's about 2 characters, Connell and Marianna. They grew up together, went to school together, but they couldn't be more different, really. So Connell is from a poor family, but he's very popular at school, and he's also an athletic star. So he's kind of got everything going for him, except for his home life and the fact that he's pretty much dirt poor. Then there's Marianna. Marianna is in a rich family, a big house, has everything she needs, but she's really a loner. She keeps to herself and doesn't really have any friends or anything. So Connell's mother is also Marianne's family's house cleaner, so there's that kind of dynamic there. So when Connell's mother is picked up from her job or dropped off for her job, Marianne and Connell kind of start talking to each other. And then soon they're hanging out all the time. At school, they act like they don't know each other, because it's kind of like well, that's, the classes can't mix, the rich and the poor, or the athletic and the loners. So at school, they're kind of like we can't talk to each other at school. But away from school, they're drawn to each other like magnets, and they spend more and more time together. So it skips a little bit to a year later when both Marianne and Connell are at college, Trinity College in Dublin, and their roles have changed a bit. They've kind of reversed, really. So now Marianne has kind of come into her own socially. She has a friend group, and she's doing better, really, socially. And then Connell has become kind of shy and uncertain and worried about his classes and just kind of the future and things like that. So when he meets up with Marianne again, he's like completely flabbergasted to see that she's at a party, and she's like tends to be surrounded by people that look like they're very much enjoying her company. And he's like, wow, this isn't the Marianne I remember. So so that's kind of interesting. So after they see each other at the party, both of them have other like boyfriend and girlfriend. Both of them are dating other people, but they kind of can't stay away from each other. So they're circling back to each other over and over again through college, and they're just irresistibly drawn together, which is very interesting. You'll just think like, man. So it's really good. It's a great story of mutual fascination, friendship, love, really strong issues or themes of family involved. With Marianne's family, you'll find out very quickly that she's in a very bad situation with an older brother and her mom. So she's not in the most loving family, and Connell's kind of there to pick up the pieces. So that's really awesome. There's a scene near the end when he comes and picks her up, and I'm just like, oh, it was really good. So this book is compulsively readable. Like, you won't be able to put it down, and I highly recommend reading it and then maybe watching the show on Hulu. I don't know anything about Hulu, so if any of you do, maybe let me know, because I'm almost tempted just to get it, just to watch this series, but I'm sure I can find other things on there to watch. I know there was another Reese Witherspoon book that they made a Hulu series. Was it Little Fires Everywhere or something like that? Anyway, I'm sure there's other good stuff on there. So the book was Normal People by Sally Rooney. Get it at your local library. Okay, next up. Ooh, this is a good one. So I'm a big fan of Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine book club. I would say probably 8 out of 10 of the books she picks for her book club are like right in line with what I love and want more of. So I usually I always pay attention to her new book club pick and then try to get it. And this book club pick was, I believe, was it April or May or March? Either way, it was the book club pick, I believe, a couple months ago, because the new one's called The Henna Artist, so you can look that one up. But this one is called The Jetsetters by Amanda Eyre Ward. And I believe this is a debut novel. I don't believe she has any more. So it's super good. And the cover just like makes you want to jump to summer. I mean, look at that cover. It's awesome. So fans of Ellen Hildebrand and also Emma Straub will enjoy this perfect summer escape read. So it's basically about a very dysfunctional family who sets off on a Mediterranean cruise, and it's really like a train wreck that you just cannot stop watching. It's super funny, and you'll really get to know the characters and kind of want to know like just what's going to happen with them when they get back together. So the main character, or the first person we meet, is a 70-year-old woman, Charlotte Perkins, and her husband passed away kind of early on, making her a single mother to 3 children. And you'll find out quite a bit about how they grew up. The dad was an alcoholic and not a good father in most situations with the kids. So anyway, she was a single mom, and she did a good job raising them, or so she thought. But now they're all adults, and they're all estranged from her and from each other. So Charlotte decides that she needs a way to get them back together. So she's reading the newspaper or watching a show. I can't remember. Anyway, she sees that there's this contest, Become a Jet Setter contest, where if you submit an essay and you win, then you can win this extremely extravagant cruise. And so she's like, okay, well, I've never told anybody my story about this, my one true love that got away. So she writes an essay, and it's a kind of a telling very personal details about when she traveled overseas when she was much younger, before she met her husband, and kind of what happened to her there that she'll always remember, the one that got away. So she writes this essay, and she wins the contest. Well, then she tells her 3 children that they have to go with her on this cruise because it's just what she wants, and she won, so they have to go. So there's 3 children. There's Lee, and she's an almost famous actress. She keeps getting these roles that aren't very lucrative, but she kind of puts on a front that she's very famous, and in reality, she's very lonely. She's the oldest child, so she always took care of the other two when they were growing up, and she's just not happy with her situation in life. She's very lonely, but she puts on the front that she's not. So she's kind of a tough nut to crack. Now, the middle child is named Cord, and he is gay, and he's also very handsome, and he's a New York venture capitalist. He lives in Manhattan, and he can't find a partner to settle down with, which that's all he really wants, is just to settle down and, be a family. Then there's Reagan, and she's the youngest, and Cord and Lee kind of took care of Reagan quite a bit when she was growing up, so she's like the little baby sister. She's married with 2 kids, but her husband and their relationship is horrible. It lacks any sort of love whatsoever. They're just kind of going through the motions, and everybody knows it. And fun fact, the husband is actually the old boyfriend of her older sister. So it's a little bit of a story there too for you. I'm not going to tell you, but you'll find out. So Reagan's not very happy either. So all 3 kids are estranged from their mother, estranged from each other, and none of them are really happy with their situation. All right, so they all pack their baggage, literally and figuratively, all the baggage, and they get on this top cruise ship. It's just glamorous, over the top. It's called the Splendido Marveloso, okay, and they're going to go to like Rome and all these fancy Mediterranean islands and things like that. So as other family members and lovers, current and former, join the cruise ship, the drama increases significantly, and readers will delight in the hilarious banter between the characters and the often outrageous things that happen to them while they're on the ship and also on their excursions. So you can imagine what might happen with a dysfunctional family that tries to get together and have a good time. Very good. So will the 4 lost family members find their way back to each other, or will this all just be a wash? No pun intended. So this is a story of finding courage to be our true selves, and that there's joy, but also peril in family. And it's also a kind of a theme of the rough and rocky seas of being an adult, or adulting, if I will say. So it's really, really good. I think like it's going to be the perfect summer beach read. I've seen it on a lot of lists already, and that's probably due to Reese giving it her stamp of approval. But still, I mean, this author is epic. She wrote a really good book that's hard to put down. So props for her. So there you go. You can get both of these at the library, and you can probably find them on Overdrive if you want to do an ebook. But whew, I got to rest my eyes. All right, now, anybody? Hi, guys. Hi, Aunt Sally. Hi, Chris. Hi, Jenny. Everybody doing good? One more week of school. Yay! I can hardly wait. Just because I don't want to hear, I don't want to do e-learning. So it's almost summer, so that's good. We have the pool open, but it's rather chilly. The boys got in last night. I don't know why. I think it was 60 degrees. They're crazy. And they say, Mom, when are you going to get in? Get me when it's 90 or 95. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And let's see. Next week will be episode 10. Geez, I can't believe I've been doing this for that long. Thanks for watching and listening. I do love to talk about books, so I really look forward to doing this on Saturday. And it's an excuse to put my face and do my hair, so that's always good since there's no other reason to do it these days. Eek. All right. Well, take care, guys. See ya.